Okay, I got chicken in the air fryer. I don't want to burn it. Let's see how quickly we can do this, right? No way, guys. I hesitated today. We genuinely could have done much better of a job today, but let's do a rundown of how I could have taken a good trade today, how you can avoid to hesitate future trades as well that you take, because that's today's lesson. Today's a very psychology based day. It's also a quick little recap of what I could have done today that would have put me up on the day, okay? You know, that's really it. We didn't trade today. We didn't force a setup, and that's all that matters, right? However, that excuse made me lose out on this bad boy over here, right? And there is actually another setup in here, right? We did have this inverse over here. As you can see, we had a 1 minute inverse over here. I think it was this one right here. Could have been up to all-time highs here, or Asia highs actually, right? Yeah, we respected a 3 minute gap. You can just like view it by eyesight here. You can see this candle over here has a massive gap in it. We respected that gap, reacted out of it, and then we inversed a 1 minute gap in here. Now the inversion wasn't clean, I will say, like I will give you that, it was not clean. However, given that we put stops under the gap, we could have caught like a 1 to 2 here, right? That's one of the setups that we could have taken, right? The other setup was the reaction off of this 1 minute tiny gap in here. I think this was a 3 minute gap. Yeah, this 3 minute and this 5. We basically had a 1 minute, 3 minute, and a 5 minute overlapping each other. And we respected all three perfectly. We wicked right out of it. And then we inversed this 1 minute here. Now with this, right, I didn't take it because we closed inside of this 1 minute candle. And I just thought, you know, we were going to come down and plummet after that, right? However, stupid me didn't realize, right? Well, actually, no, I did realize. We had an SMT here with ES, right? We correlated here. NQ was falling behind here on this SMT. And, you know, we did inverse this 1 minute gap straight after that, after respecting all of this. This is a really good setup. But I was looking at the 15 minute premium and, oh my days, this is like the most post-nut clarity trade recap that I've ever done, because I just realized how good of a setup this was, right? Like, I know we were overextended on this leg, but we ran past all of these draws, this low resistance liquidity. We didn't react, and we made equal highs as well, right? We had these two equal highs here, and then we also had this high back here. Then they were all equal. They were all equal highs here, right? So I made the excuse of, oh, this 1 minute gap means we're gonna react. But I was so wrong. We had so many things telling us that we were bullish, and I ignored those signals. This hurts more to me than it does if we actually lost this setup, because this would have been a really good setup, right? And the more I look at it, the more I realize just how much of a good setup this was, okay? BRB, I'm gonna check my chicken quick. Okay, I'm back. Chicken review. Look how much I burnt this chicken, bro. I told you. Can't do this trade recap while I've got food in the making. Don't do that, guys. You can burn your house down. But yeah, like I said, genuinely such a sucker that we missed this one out today. Again, the more I look at this, the more I realize it's such a good setup. We had A+ draws and liquidity. I don't know why I made the excuse of, oh, we're in premium, so we have to short. Haha. That's not the case. I really need to level up my intuition. But now I see it. Now I see it. And now next time this shit happens, you fucking bet I am going to take a good trade on shit like this. When we've got 3 different confluences lining up, and, you know, a tiny ass fucking 1 minute gap like this won't make much of a difference against all the other confluences that we have, okay? It's 3 against 1 here. So the next time you look at something like this, you gotta realize, if you see something like this next time, or you see something, some sort of setup, and you know, you've tested it every now and then, you see that it keeps working, take that setup, okay? On Friday, I think we had a similar situation as well. So if we jump back to Friday here, I believe we had some sort of SMT. I don't remember, I don't have the screenshot anymore. I just know there was some sort of setup that looks similar to the one today. And the draws and liquidity were really good. You see, the more you look at stuff with screen time, the more setups you see that are similar, and the more they actually work out, the more you realize you need to take those setups, okay? And if you see something that you haven't saw in the market before, and you know, you're new to trading like me, I don't have years of market experience, okay? I only have around 6 months now, okay? Maybe. If you see something new in the market and it's a setup that you think will work, and you know, it's not a bad setup, it's actually a good setup, but it's something new compared to what you've seen before, try that setup, bro. I mean, that's the advice I got given by a video I watched, and honestly, I think that's going to be a good method from now on, because at this point, I just faded a really good trade today. I could have printed today. Now that I see this next time, if it's another good setup, right, don't get me wrong, if we see something like this, but 1 or 2 of the confluences are missing, I might reconsider my options. I might not like risk as much, but I see new shit in the market, I'll take that shit in the market, because this, again, really fucking good over here, okay? It's in line with my strategy, right? SMT, fair value gaps, inversion of the gaps, equal highs. all that shit combined is just really good. Okay, so that's how you stop yourself from hesitating in the market. You just have to have the balls to take these new setups that, you know, like follow your model, but they're not necessarily something that you are used to yet, because the market will give you different shit every day. You just have to be confident with being able to take something new that is in line, again, with your strategy, okay? And if you lose, then, you know, you just have to see again or a couple more times. If that same setup doesn't work anymore, cool. Remove it. If you see this shit in the market, don't trade it compared to everything else that you've already seen that works for you, okay? Because you're creating neural pathways in your brain telling you, all right, well, this setup works for me and this setup doesn't work for me, okay? They all follow the same strategy, but I win with this exact setup more than I do with another setup, okay? Let's say that you're waiting for a key level sweep, and every time you see something like this, you know, you get a really good trade in here, right? I get a good trade in here as well because, you know, I trade London session lows getting swept and then a reversal out of that, okay? I look for that as well in the markets. That's what I start with. But then you get stuff like this. Again, if it's really high probability, go for it. I'm not going to repeat it again. I've said it like 5 times. Hopefully that makes sense, okay? Hopefully that prevents you from hesitating on setups next time, okay? Because the fear of trading and then missing a setup that you see play out because you hesitated, that's worse than losing a setup you know was in line with your strategy. Genuinely, you can try it, okay? I've done this before as well, and this sucks today, man. This sucks more than a loss. Or it's like, it's basically the same feeling as a loss, okay? Because you know you faded a really good setup. But yeah, that will be everything for today. No trades today, obviously. Tomorrow, we've got some news. Hey, would you look at that? We've got PMI 15 minutes into market open, and then we've got fucking Powell speaking. So yeah, we'll see what happens tomorrow. I'm going to eat this chicken now. Oh my days, that's so good. Yeah, like I said, chicken, leg day at the gym, Uber Eats grind, all that shit is coming together. I am actually moving hometown soon. I am moving out my hometown. I have wanted to say that for ages, but it is actually happening, ladies and gentlemen. And that shit will only boost my growth and make everything here 10 times better, okay? So, stay tuned for that. Until then, right, keep backtesting, keep practicing, and continue improving in life, right? See you boys tomorrow. Hopefully, you had a good day today. Peace the fuck out. Love you. See you tomorrow. Bye.